It's Joy from jakeandjoy.com, and we are so excited today to bring you some tips and tricks about how to look your best in photos that you're going to post on social media. It's kind of important, right? And we happen to have an award-winning photographer who happens to be our photographer, Ashley Taylor Henning, and she's going to share some amazing tips with you. But first of all, if you're jumping on live, just tell us where you're coming in from. We'd love to hear from you. And if you're listening with a replay, just drop replay in the comments. The weather has been so crappy out here. It's been unbelievable. Jake and I have been up. I know it's Valentine's Day, and we've been up since, I've been up since like 4, just getting all this stuff done. And it's raining and raining and raining. How's the weather where you are, Jake?
It's also pouring rain and crazy wind. It knocked over a bunch of our stuff outside. And it's actually, the weather says it's supposed to snow up here on Sunday, which I don't know that it's ever snowed here in years and years and years and years.
Well, where you are, you sometimes get snow, but even when we lived in Sacramento and in Fair Oaks, we got snow a couple of years. So you do get snow.
It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy, but yeah. So it's fun to be inside, cozy, warm, doing webinars and videos and podcasts. It's a good day for that.
And today we're so excited that we are interviewing Ashley Taylor Henning, who is a fabulous, fabulous local photographer in Santa Barbara. She also happens to be our photographer. So all the photos that you see on our website, Ashley did. And you know, there's so much that goes into looking good in a picture. Jake had modeled before, but I was just kind of an idiot and just like, you feel like you're like doing all this weird stuff. But Ashley's going to show you some things that you can do yourself, and Jake's got some great questions for her. But first, I want to just read her bio because it's pretty impressive. Ashley Taylor Henning is an internationally known photographer based right here in Santa Barbara, California. Her work has been published both in print and online by Cosmopolitan.com, Style Me Pretty, just to name a couple. In 2016, she was listed as one of the best boudoir photographers, think Valentine's Day, in the world by Junebug Weddings. Her studio was featured on Sue Bryce's Studio Tours web series about highly successful portrait studios worldwide. Ashley was personally mentored and trained by Sue Bryce and assisted Sue Bryce on 3 folio build workshops in 2018. Was that when you went to Paris, Ashley?
Yeah, in Italy.
In Italy. Wow, I saw some of those pictures. They were amazing. She's also an accredited master portrait photographer through the Portrait Masters. She was named Best Photographer in Santa Barbara in the Santa Barbara Independent's annual readers poll in 2018. So we're so excited that you're here, Ashley. And, you know, you guys can't see how tall Ashley is. She's really, really, really not tall.
Don't tell my secret.
Jake looked like a giant. So I just wonder, like, how did you get interested in this field? Because there's so much heavy equipment, and you know, it boggles my mind. How did you get interested in photography?
Well, I was just always interested in creative arts and storytelling from a young age. I was always into like performing, acting, directing, filmmaking, all of that. I went to school for filmmaking and I minored in photography, but my plan was really to be like an actress and a filmmaker. But about a year into working in the film industry, realized that it was not what I thought it was going to be. And I realized that I needed a new game plan for life pretty quickly. So that was when I was getting engaged to my now husband, and I was researching photographers to hire for our wedding, and they just looked like they lived the best life, like having so much fun, being creative, working from themselves, and it ticked off like all the boxes that I think I wanted being a filmmaker to fulfill for myself. So I just really, like, at 22 years old was like, I think I can be a photographer. 23 years old. And I just like, I was really naive because I was so young, and I just was like, I think I could do this. And I just kind of nosedived into it. And through building a wedding photography business, ended up transitioning into portraits because I really learned along the way that that was actually the part that I enjoyed the most, was really the portraiture part. So that's kind of how I got to where I am now.
Awesome. Yeah. On our website and also on our cover photo on our Facebook page, a lot of the photos on our Facebook page, a lot of our emails, everything that we put out there is Ashley's work. So I'm really so happy to have you on here. So I have a few questions for you that I think our listeners and watchers would love to hear. So can you talk a little bit about the importance of photos on social media and like then photos that look good. Can you talk a little bit about like why we need to have photos and good photos?
Yes. Well, everything is visually based, right? Like, and when we're scrolling online, it's the visual that goes along with your written content that is going to make your post stand out from all the other posts, because that's like just how our brains work. So having a compelling image that makes people go, ooh, is what stops them from scrolling and starts them reading your content over all the other stuff. And I think we all know how mindless we can scroll. So when something really stands out and is impactful, it's gonna make a huge return on your investment. And it's so important. And I feel like people don't realize really how important it is. And even your social media profile picture, like a lot of times people are stalking you online before they're actually meeting you. So they have already formed an impression about you based on your online social media profile photo before they've even met you a lot of times these days. So it takes like a couple milliseconds to make a first impression. So
Right.
it's really important that your photos speak volumes about you just right there, because people already subconsciously have all these ideas just based on that one photo that they saw.
Right. So don't have your profile photo or your cover photo be like a picture of your cat.
Yeah. Or like, I mean, it's fun as much as like I love going on vacation and stuff, but like think about who you're trying to target and what you want that to say about you. Because if it's like you on spring break, like in Cancun in a bikini, like being like, like that's not really like the best first impression. I see it a lot, even with like, people in their 30s and older, but a lot of times people still will post like these kind of really personal pictures for their social media profile.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. And what we've learned about social media too is that, at least on Facebook, the like ranking of like how Facebook puts your stuff out there, like the bottom rank is when you click share. That's the bottom rank. Facebook is like, we don't care about that. The second above that is written text. And then above that is a photo with written text. So Facebook prefers you to have a photo with whatever it is that you're doing, so that they'll put it in more people's news feed. So it's super important to have a photo and to have it look good.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and there's so many other platforms like LinkedIn. I just finally joined LinkedIn, I have to admit, but even there, it's like what stops the scroll again usually is always a image with some text or graphic on it. And then Instagram, of course, is like an entirely photography based platform. So even if you have like the best caption and the best text, like no one is reading that if they aren't interested in your photo first.
Right.
So pretty much any visual platform or any social media platform has a visual component to it. There's pretty much almost no way to get around not having good visuals in your brand these days.
Right. That's really good. That's awesome. So my second question is, if someone's not in Santa Barbara, how can they find a good photographer in their area? Or do you travel outside of Santa Barbara? Like a couple different options for people that aren't in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, well, I do travel. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, I was in Toronto working with a client and creating all of her social media and PR content for like the first quarter of the year. So she walked away with 90 days worth of images that she can use all over her different platforms and never have to repeat an image for the next 90 days.
Wow.
Which is super cool. So I do travel, but I know that's not going to be possible for everyone. So, I mean, I would say the best thing to do is get a personal referral from someone else whose photos you really like.
Okay.
Because if someone else had a good experience that you like and trust, the odds are that you're also going to have a good experience.
Yeah.
The problem with Googling is, there's so many there's only so many spots on Google, and there's so many photographers that are really great that still may not show up on the Google first page just because of how like SEO works and all that. So just because someone's coming up first on a Google search may or may not mean that they're great. They could be really great, but they also might not be.
Right.
So online searching is certainly possible, but I really think that people get the best results when they've seen a person that they know in their network have really great photos that really resonate with them. And then they ask for that person's info, and then they, can get to know that photographer. And that's the other thing I would say is like, get to know the person first, because if you don't like your photographer, it's going to be really evident in the photos. If you don't trust your photographer, it's going to be really evident in the photos. Like you have to have a connection and a trust in your photographer for them to get you to let your guard down and really connect with the camera. So it's more than just like liking someone's work, it's liking the person as well.
Okay.
And like you can spend a couple hours with them.
Cool. Interesting. Yeah, that's really good. So personal referral is really good. And we did put your website in the caption above. So if people want to contact you and get in touch with you, they have our personal referral for you. So they can get linked up with you. And then my final question before my mom asks her 2 questions that we ask everybody is, if someone can't afford to hire a photographer just yet, and do you have some tips about, if they're going to just, use their iPhone or camera that they have, what are some tips that they can help them get some better photos, like better lighting? What should they be wearing? Background, like, can you talk a little bit about those?
Yeah. And Ashley, I want to ask something that ties in with that. Like, if they are gonna go to a professional photographer, there's also some things that they can do as well to like the photographer should be asking them about wardrobe and that sort of thing before the shoot.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, with me, I'm sure as you guys know, with all my clients, I go through a special like pre-shoot consultation process where we design the shoot. We talk about the outfits, we talk about their brand colors, what's going to look really good on camera, what's going to be flattering, because sometimes the things that we wear in life that are really flattering are not so flattering in the way the camera sees things. Mm-hmm. So it is really important to find a photographer. Well, especially if that's not where your expertise is how things are going to be photographed, which most people it isn't. It's really important to find a photographer who includes in their service the time, like they're going to take the time to coach you. Because I will say that service that I offer is fairly unique among photographers. Like a lot of photographers just want to get you in, especially like the lower price point ones, which is, when you're starting out in business, you might be hiring a lower price point photographer, but because they're at a lower price point, they're not able to take that time with you. So they're just having you come in, trusting you, bring your outfit. So it is really important. And as far as what looks good on camera, solid colors. You always want something that like showcases your waistline. So I always say like form fitting through the torso till it comes into your waist, because when you don't see a woman's waist, it makes her look square and blocky. And even if she has a good figure, it can often add a lot of weight to the photo. Okay. So if you do have a shirt that you love and it doesn't really show your waist very well, you can also clamp it in the back to add a little bit more definition. I know there's a lot of women also who don't love their figures and they're like immediately resistant to the idea of something that is more form-fitting, but it is so important, especially if your photographer uses Photoshop. There's so much they can do to take out the things that you don't like about form-fitting clothes. Right. When they have a waistline to work with in Photoshop, it's so much easier to make you have a shape. Because really, like, what makes someone look flattering is that, for women, is that tapering into the waist and then coming out like that hourglass shape, whether you're like a size 0 hourglass or you're a fuller size, it's that curve that we want to see, so that's why it's really important to make sure that we're seeing that. And in posing, one of the things we need to do also is pull the arms away from the waist, because, well, right now you can only see my shoulders, but if your arms are straight down to your side, they're adding bulk to your waist. And so it's just widening you on camera. So what you really need to think about is how can we move the arms? And the classic one that you always see is sort of that elbows out, like cover girl one, which is great, but it's a little bit like overdone and it's a little bit not always professional. So I have some other tricks to get, the arms off, like in terms of bringing your elbows back away from your waist. You're kind of still sculpting your waist and your arms are still to your side, but your elbows are back instead of being like straight down and blocking off your waistline. Mm-hmm. So there's little posing tricks like that you can do. On my website, I do have like a subscribe to my email list button, and you get a PDF that has like 5 tips to look great in photos. Oh, cool. But another really good one is watching your light, because lighting can really change your whole face, just if the light is good or not good. But like the very easiest way to get good light would be to have a window with some diffusion, like a sheer curtain, directly in front of you, because that's just gonna fill in all the stuff. Yeah. And soften it and just create something that's really even. So that's like just for like, because most people have a hard time, like, I don't know, you know, most people just don't understand light and like, well, what's a 45-degree angle and all that stuff. Now, if you don't have a window light and you are ready to make a little investment, you could also, they have them on Amazon, so many different brands, buy a ring light, like RING. It's basically an LED light that's shaped like a circle, and they come with like a stand. And a lot of people that you see on Instagram and Facebook Lives and stuff do have those hidden, you don't know that they have them, but they're behind the camera because it's just, it's a replacement for a window light basically, and creates like a soft light. But they do run between $100 and $300 depending on the brand and the sale and all that stuff. So it is a little bit of an investment to make.
Okay, cool, awesome. Those are great tips and great.
Yeah.
Someone can get into your. Yeah, so great.
I know, right? It's like a secret of the pros. If you're always like, that person looks good in all their videos, it's probably because they have a ring light.
Is there a brand name that you recommend?
No, not really. I don't even honestly have one. I just know that like I've used them and I've seen them, and I know a lot of Instagrammers and all those people who do use them because they are so low cost. But like literally type ring light into Amazon and you will get like so many options and so many different price points. And you can just read the reviews and decide like of your, you know, budget, which one is good for you. I'm sure it's like the quality more has to do with like how fast they need to be replaced more than like the light quality is probably going to be the same in all of them. It's probably just like how well the thing is made, you know, with kind of thing.
Cool. Awesome.
So I have 2 last questions for you that we ask all of our guests.
Okay.
First question is, what one piece of advice would you give on someone that's just starting out in business for themselves, no matter what the business?
Yeah. So I would say that you need to find your value in what you do and be able to communicate it really well. And that's something that I struggled with for a long time. But the more you can say with confidence what it is that you do and how it brings value to people's lives, the more people will be attracted to your services and want to come in and work with you and experience your work. And sometimes it's just a matter of standing in front of the mirror for, you know, hours every day and practicing how to concisely say what it is you do, why it's so important, and why you think it would be helpful to people that you are meeting at networking events. Because really, it all starts with like, now we're doing so much online marketing, but really it all starts with in-person connections. And even things like Facebook Live, you're still making a connection with people. So you have to figure out how you can connect with people and show people what you have to offer.
Cool.
Right. Cool.
Toastmasters, baby.
Yeah.
And my last question is the one that's very thought-provoking. What's your favorite cooking show?
My favorite cooking show is Cooking with Jake and Joy.
Hey, thank you so much for taking time to be with us on Valentine's Day. We really, really appreciate it. And thanks for joining us, you guys. We hope you get value. Jake and I are always trying to give you tips and tricks to help you have an unstoppable life that you love. And we will see you on Monday.
Wait, we forgot one thing. Make sure to we are on other social media platforms. We are on Twitter newly as of the last month. Our handle is Jake and Joy. What?
We tweet.
Yeah. Our handle is Jake and Joy, and we are also on Instagram. Our handle is Jake and Joy Kelly, all spelled out. And you can see my mom's amazing beginner attempts at Insta stories. You don't want to miss those. They're pretty great. So that's all I wanted to add.
Yeah, and make sure that you check out what Ashley's up to. She's got some new stuff coming up that I'm really excited about. And Jake and I need to get back in there and get our pictures taken again now that I have my shirt too. So
yes.
everybody, have a great day.
Bye. Thank you.